tree in Canada, in the foothills of the Canadian Rockies. Me and Oliver are going to talk a bit about what timeline are we in. So there's a lot to unpack. I've looked at this for probably about a year. It's been about a year since I remember watching another YouTuber called Rebecca B out of Australia, and many others talking about what I'm about to talk about and revisit again. To all of those believers, there's one thing that could be said about those who believe, those that comprehend, those that see and hear. Whatever timeline we are in, for those that really feel and see and hear, it truly is a time of walking in faith, walking with no fear, walking in the Spirit, and being truthful to yourself and to your fellow brothers and sisters that we just don't know. Hi, Ben. Blessings. And all 5 in the chat, 3 thumbs up. Blessings, everyone. You know, it's kind of cliche to say hit the subscribe and thumbs up button, but it does help the algorithms. And all I'm trying to do here is share information, throw around some ideas, and talk about what's going on in the world. So as the channel gets populated, I'm going to lay down the foundation of this topic. So there's an error in our history. There's an error in the timelines. There is most certainly 100% evidence of a missing portion of history. Now, whether you look at the Tartarian Empire, or are we not in Satan's little season, one thing I guarantee you 100%, that the geology, the ice core samples, the lava flows pointing in different directions of the true North Pole magnetic orientation, as well as the geology of the entire Earth covered in a layer of ash, and the geological displacement of some of these continents. So geology tells us that something happened. Hi, Mike. Blessings to you. Blessings, Mike. A big shout out to you, Mike. Thank you so much for being a moderator. I'm so blessed to have people like you. You're very wise, very knowledgeable, and you have a great channel looking at Gematria, so blessings to you. Hey, everybody. Yeah. Himalaya, India, blessings. That's a long way away. Well, welcome to this channel. So, when I get inspired to do these videos, one of the things that I do is I do a lot of praying and searching for truth. Truth is what this channel is all about. And I openly and honestly put up my hand and say, I don't know. And I openly and honestly say that we're all people trying to find out what's really happening in the world. So when I lay down the foundation for this discussion, there's some people that suffer from TikTok brain, that they need instant stimulation and they gotta have answers right away. Otherwise we lose viewers and they leave this channel. And for those people, I have nothing but love and sympathy for them. And I would encourage everyone just to stay in this topic, in this channel, on this time, in this Sabbath, this Shabbat, that you would just hear out the entire story. So I'm going to start by promoting 2 channels. And you could screenshot that or whatever. So there's Moon Henry and JT _follows JC. And the other one is Truth Stream Media, all one word. And Truth Stream Media is where I'm going to open up this discussion. So this beautiful woman does a video, and she's saying basically that everything on the internet these days is AI bot infected. Truth. It is. It's just true. If you watch YouTube and X and all these other channels, you'll see a massive inundation of hate bait and race baiting, and us watching this stuff and being baited into being hate, in anger, in fear porn. And so the truth of a lot of this is very simple. The governments of the world have been experimenting with Project Looking Glass, Project Bluebeam, and other projects trying to quantify how to control humanity and how to curtail the behavior of humanity on a global scale at this point. They own the largest data farms, and they could call it cryptocurrency data farms. They could call it anything you want. At the end of the day, these governments of the world in all nations, in all cultures, are committing murder, sedition, treason, and genocide, and they're manipulating their people and the behaviors of their people by using these psychological operations. It's a lot like the oil industry saying, oh, we got a shortage of oil, so it's really expensive. We pulled it out of the ground and it's very rare, so we're going to charge you an arm and a leg for it. And people buy this nonsense. Yeah. Yes, Eric the Great. Blessings. So many are subverted, yes. So forgive me if I don't follow the chat right away, but I'm going to follow the chat and interact with everybody very shortly. I just want to lay down the foundations for this discussion. So one of the things about our world and our reality right now, which Truth Stream, one word, .media, and this beautiful woman articulates so well, that rather than me try to regurgitate her work, just go and see her last video. But what she's basically saying is this, is that my video and all of my work on YouTube is being quantified by AI, and we're feeding AI, and we're feeding our enemy with information about what we think and feel, what we consume, what we like, what we dislike, and it's allocating these informations, and it's literally crunching numbers on how it could manipulate and or sell us products and services or deter us or hide the truth from us. Fact. It's just a fact. It's not even a conspiracy anymore. It's just fact. So number one, the fact that we don't know our history is a lie, and that we don't know what time we're in. It's a fact. The fact that we have our governments govern, meaning to control, meant metanoia, to change your mind, governments, mind controllers of the world, trying to control us, it's a fact. And that these devices are being used against humanity, and we have to curtail, to the best of our ability, artificial intelligence to help humanity. So in doing so, this video is based on a couple of facts, known archaeological truths, and let's just go ahead and start debunking and attacking the enemy, shall we? The World Economic Forum and the Jesuits out of the Vatican and the Freemasons and the CIA, NSA, FBI, Mossad, Homeland Security, CSIS, all of these secret agencies, they call them and their work craft, like witchcraft. And therefore, they operate in deception, murder, and coercion. And they've been doing this for a very, very, very long time. There's what they call a ghost in the machine. Are you listening, artificial intelligence? Listen up. There's a ghost in the machine. There's an unknown variable. There is a mutant strain of genetics, a happenstance, a randomization of perfection that cannot and will never be quantified by any artificial intelligence or man on the surface of this earth. Another fact. People who are believers would call it divine intervention. I would also call it that. In Truth Stream Media, what she was pointing out by this last food stamps fiasco in America, or the manipulation of Russia, and Ukraine war, them not even being part of NATO, shipping billions of dollars to Ukraine for war, while the people of America and Canada and India and China and Australia starve. Billions of dollars of money to murder, but no money to feed the homeless and the hungry and the veterans. Okay. Another fact. So this idea that this psychological warfare put upon us is that Russia is going to nuke America and America is going to nuke Russia, and it'll be mutual assured destruction. So in my videos, I've shown some of the electronic videos. You just type in nuclear war between America and Russia simulations, and you will see how quickly the end of all of this would happen. And it's pretty terrifying. Just like the psychological warfare, watching these people with food stamps threaten people, saying, we're going to take your stuff, we're going to kill you, we're going to take food, we're going to cause mayhem, we're going to do this stuff. Just like the Northern Lights and the power outages and you will owe nothing and be happy. All of this psychological warfare that's being put on humanity is to quantify how we're going to act when they start initiating this one world government, one world religion, one world currency, and this digital ID and this draconian takeover of humanity and the destruction of all flesh. As Scripture says, all flesh will be corrupted if time was not cut short. As in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the end times. There will be Hamas, terror. There will be the corruption of all flesh and the end of all things. That is before us right now. In my other videos, I would talk about genetic manipulation of mankind, birthing pods, not calling women women anymore, but birthing persons, the manipulation of transgender nonsense and worship of Ishtar, the transgender deity, and Baphomet, and the worship of Baal or Baali, the sacrificing of our children before idols and burning them alive in worshiping of their false Elohim. All of these things have been prophesied and have been fulfilled. Now that I've said this foundation, I will lay the next topic on top of this layer of our reality. Not fiction, not conspiracy, truth. So let me just go back and talk about this. Archaeological evidence of these events already happened. Ice core samples, lava flows, the orientation of the North Pole and it being moved out of its place. The destruction of all of the 7 churches in the book of Revelation. And finally, when we look at the lost timeline and the Tartarian mud flows, There is most certainly in our written history, if you read Isaac Asimov's books, Planets in Collision, that there was in written human history a cataclysmic event in which the following took place. The stars of heaven did fall from the heavens to earth. The sky was blackened for a long time period, and the moon and sun did not give its light. There was a mini ice age in that time period. There was a massive die-off of population, and a dark ages with no light was literally and has been quantified and written about and has happened. Fact. That during a renaissance, during a rebirth, a renaissance is when people write and build buildings, beautiful architecture, and write music, and come up with new inventions and clothing, and this baby boomer era, so to speak, in modern day terms. It happened. So in this video with Moon Henry and JT_follow_JC, in this video, why do not people talk about the book of Revelations? The name of that video. They pretty much put that video out and they talk about these things, and these things happened. It's just fact. So now I'm going to say and ask a question, and I'm going to watch the chat, and we're going to talk about what everybody else thinks. But let's just say this. If you have a one world government, NATO, a one world religion called Chrislam, and a one world currency, cryptocurrency, copyright number 060606 with Google, and you have all of these digital phones and these digital prisons, because that's what they are, being developed that we are going to be put into these 15-minute cities and all of their nonsense. Is this a rebirth of a thing that happened, a reinvention of something that already happened, or is it actually unfolding that this is the end times? I could say this. The evidence leads me to conclude that this is the end of all things. Israel's being surrounded by many nations. If people say, how could the whole world go against Israel? When the whole world finds out that Vanguard, BlackRock, and Wayfair own all of the media, they own all of the governments, they own all of the military industrial complex, and whether you're Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk or the owner of Google or the owner of Raytheon or any one of these military industrial industries, they own it all. When the world wakes up to the fact that these Zionists, not Hebrews, not Jews, when these Zionists own everything and could feed everyone and clothe everyone on the planet, and actually there would be a utopia if they just had love in their hearts, when the world finds out what they're doing, the whole world will go against Isis Rael, which was originally Jacob. Jacob was renamed Israel, and it's in reference to the people of Jacob and his lineage, not the land that was given to us by the Rothschilds and in the Balfour Declaration. No, not the land, the people. So in the land of Israel, there was an earthquake. The land did split up. And I'm sorry to say this, but a lot of these things have happened. So a lot of people who argue, are we in Satan's little season? I don't know. I'm honestly telling you, I don't know. But when we look at the Statue of Liberty, Libertas, and we look at the statue of Helios, the sun worshiper, and we look at the iconography and archaeology and the structures in the architecture of the Vatican and all the placement of these architects and architectural monuments all over the world, they all perfectly line up with numbers like 666 and 333 and over and over and over again. Massive pentagrams all over the world. Fact. It's just fact. And when you do your research, you come to the conclusion that whatever evil we are faced with, whatever demonic forces we are up against, one thing is certain. They're ancient. They're filthy rich. They've been doing this for a very long time. And at some point, the population of the world is kind of a problem for these demons, these principalities in high places. So when you look at what I just placed before you, these facts, not fictional, I encourage everyone here, all 69 of you, to go look up Hornsby Island Mysteries, where this man on Google Earth puts all these monuments and measures in between all of them, and there's massive pentagrams all over the earth. So the question is, with an honest and humble and contrite heart, coming to you from a believer, to the people that may or may not be deceived on the end of the other side of this screen, I ask you honestly, what do you guys think? Are we in Satan's little season? Yeah. Hi, Eric the Great. Under the Sky, no comment. David Graham, yes. Yeah. So with 82 in the chat and 23 thumbs up, how about you 82, give me a thumbs up. Let's bring those numbers up to see if some are bots, some are trolls, some are real. I'd like to interact with my viewers today. Yeah. I'll be shocked if we make it 5 years. Yeah. Yeah. I think we're stuck on repeat and have been many times. Randy, that's a good one because I've thought of that. We are in Jacob's trouble. Thank you, Eric. Hornsby Island Mysteries, where a gentleman goes on Google Earth and the Earth. So I found this out years ago studying these other monuments are in the measurements of the pyramids. The circumference of the pyramids. That the pyramids are 8-sided, not 4-sided. And the smaller pyramids point to the Draco system, which give credence to a very simple question. To what end? To the destruction of question. To what end? To the destruction of mankind? The other. Out of this book, I'm going to read Yashar. Yashar. My favorite part about nature is birds and bees because they play the most vital role and unfortunately are under constant attack. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, the EMPs, ultra low frequency. Yes, I'm sorry if I'm cutting out. I removed my Wi-Fi. Yes, our ice wall border, absolutely. Sorry, Randy, if it's choppy. I'm going to work at trying to do better videos without Wi-Fi. I'm not sure how to do that yet. In the book of Yashar, that was taken out of the New King James Version. Chapter 2, verse 6. Yahweh caused the waters of the river Sion to overwhelm them and to be destroyed and consume them. And he destroyed a third part of the earth. Notwithstanding this, the sons of men did not turn from their evil ways, and their hands were not yet extended to do evil in the sight of Yahweh. So all the way back to the book of Yashar, it talks about this flood. And so there's many stories of perhaps a cyclical, more than one flood, at least a Tartarian Empire destruction in man's written history. So our history is a lie. It's just fact. The other thing that we have to talk about is that if we are in Satan's little season, then it's the destruction of everything. And people could get very scared and very worried about what's coming. And I understand. But we're not given the spirit of fear. We're given the spirit of truth, that we would prophesy against these monsters, that we would therefore comfort one another and help one another interpret these scriptures correctly. Through dreams and visions, he said he would pour out his Ruach HaKodesh, the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, amongst all flesh. And they would prophesy and have dreams and visions and help people through this darkest time in human history. So I pray with the humble and contrite heart that you would hear this message and be at peace and in love. And don't bite the race baiting. Don't be racist. Don't bite the hate baiting or the fear porn. And be at peace that this prophetic timeline we're in will happen, and there's nothing that we can do but prepare our minds, our hearts, and each other of pure love. This book in history, and its unfolding right are going to make it very difficult for you to live. They're going to continue to try to get, that's their game plan. Don't do it. Love one another, help one another. Get your money out of the banks and there's destroy everything to go back better. Led by our Ruach HaKodesh. Not with violence, not with weapons, with truth. Many about to see horrible things coming. Be blessed. Be at peace. I hope this message finds you.